My name is Mick. I work in the manufacturing industry as a 28-year-old company employee. Just a few days ago, I was on a 1-year overseas assignment to help guide the local employees there. During that time, my wife Kathy stayed in America at her own request. The reason was because my mother-in-law had just undergone surgery for a chronic illness, and it was still a concern. Honestly, I wanted Kathy, a full-time housewife, to come with me and help me with my daily life. But because my parents-in-law have been kind to us in many ways, I reluctantly accepted their proposal. However, I never imagined that such a decision would trigger such a major incident later. The incident began 2 months after I left America. The incident happened when I had to call my brother to help with a matter I needed to take care of at my parents' home. "Hello, Kevin? I can't get through to the house phone. Are Mom and Dad out somewhere?" "Oh, you don't know? Mom and Dad are living with Kathy." "What? They're living with Kathy now at my house? Kathy didn't say anything about that." "What? That's a little odd. They started living with her right after you left the US. "It's been that long ago? I've talked to Kathy many times via video call. Not once did I hear Mom's or Dad's voices. My parents are not the type to cling to their son, but if a call comes from their son, who is on assignment overseas, it's not strange for them to want to hear his voice at least once. And in this case, they could have answered the phone because they'd be close by. My parents started living with my wife without telling me, which made me feel really uncomfortable. After hanging up the call with my younger brother, I immediately called my mom's cell phone. That's only natural. I called to ask about the reason why my parents started living with my wife and the circumstances that led to it. "Oh, Mick, what's wrong at this hour?" "Oh, my bad. I forgot there's a time difference. It's long past midnight there, huh?" "No, I don't mind. What seems to be the urgency?" "There's no real urgency. I just wanted to ask you about Mom and Dad." "You mean your parents? Why are you bothering me about that?" "I heard from Kevin. Are you living with my mom and dad now?" Well, yeah, well..." "Why didn't you tell me that? They're my parents." "Yeah, that's because, they said they didn't want you to worry about them." "Worried? Worried about what?" "Actually, your dad got sick the other day." What? Well, is my dad okay?" "It's okay, it's fine. It wasn't that bad of an illness, but he said he needed to recuperate at home for a while. I thought it would be hard for your mother to take care of your father, so I decided to have them come stay with us for a while." "Oh, well, I hope it's nothing serious, but I'm still a little worried. Can you put my father or mother on the phone for me?" "No, not now. Your parents are asleep." "Oh, come to think of it, it is late at night over there. Okay, let's stop for today. I'll contact you again next time." "I think that's a good idea, but if you're busy at work, you don't have to call me." "Okay." Kathy's demeanor at the time was clearly suspicious. In fact, my suspicions were confirmed. After that, no matter how many times I called, Kathy gave me all types of plausible excuses. She tried to talk me out of talking to my parents. I tried calling my parents directly on their cell phones, but there was no answer, and all I got back were texts that I couldn't identify who had actually typed them. In the end, time passed by in vain. About a month later, I decided to call my younger brother's cell phone again. "What's up, bro? What do you want today?" "I wanted to have a little chat with you about Mom and Dad. Why don't you come over to my house and see how they're doing?" "What? Why?" "Because he's sick and not feeling well. Aren't you worried about him?" "He's sick? Are you lying? I didn't know anything about that." "Huh? You didn't hear anything either?" Yeah, I didn't hear anything. I mean, come on, it's such an important thing. Isn't it strange that we don't know anything that Kathy knows?" "Yes, indeed." My wife and I live about a 2-hour drive from our parents' house, but my brother lived within a 30-minute walk from their house. Even though it was an urgent matter, could it be possibly that my father only contacted Kathy when he collapsed, despite her living so far away? "Sorry, would you mind just going to check on them both? I feel like there are some secrets being kept that we don't know about in this matter." Okay. So what about you, brother?" "I'll tell my work what's going on and be ready to move at any time. I'll keep you informed. If anything changes, call me right away." The next day, my brother went to my apartment to check on my parents, and that day, my brother witnessed an incredible scene. When he visited Kathy spoke through the intercom. "Your father has contracted coronavirus and can't leave the room," she said. But my brother, who judged that Kathy was lying, immediately ran up to the roof of the building opposite my apartment, and from that vantage point, Using binoculars, he looked into the room where Kathy and my parents were supposed to be, and there, he says, he saw a stranger talking to Kathy as though they were lovers. In addition, the room where my parents are believed to be located in was covered by thick curtains that do not allow a view of the inside. My brother felt a terrible feeling about it. After receiving a report from my brother, I immediately obtained a ticket for a flight to America. Fortunately, it was just after the busy season, and I had some time off, so it was the perfect timing to take a leave of absence and return to America. Upon arriving back in the US, I joined my brother and headed for my home where my parents and Kathy should have been. Of course, Kathy did not know that I had returned home on short notice. With my brother, I used a key to unlock the front door and stepped into the room with a gloomy atmosphere. At that time, Kathy seemed to be out, and it appeared that only my parents were in the apartment, but what we saw was not what we expected. In the dark room, my parents were curled up on their knees, appearing like they were living with Kathy, not voluntarily. "Dad! Mom! What are you doing in a dark room like this?" "Mick, Kevin, you came to save us?" Save? What do you mean?" "We've been trapped in here for years. She took our pensions to get money to play with men." What did you say?" When I turned on the lights and took a closer look, I found my father's and mother's body covered in scars and bruises of all sizes. My father told me that Kathy, in collusion with the adulterer, had planned to exert a kind of mind control over my father and mother. The effect was not immediate, but she did manage to instill pain and fear in them and deprive them of their freedom. "Huh? The door's open. I don't think they ran away." "That's so silly. Without the authentication key, you can't even ride the elevator. Besides, if they even thought about escaping, they'd know what would happen to them." When we heard the voices of two men and women talking at the entrance, my brother and I held our breaths and hid behind the door where our parents were, and as soon as the owners of the voices stepped into the room, we pounced on them all at once. "Be quiet. You'll never get away with this." "Whoa, what the hell are you guys?" "What? Kevin and Mick are here. Why are you back in America?" "I saw that Mom and Dad were in danger, so I flew home. We know all about your shenanigans. Give it up already." "Let go of me! Let go of me!" "Shut up. You'll pay for what you did to my mom and dad." "Dad, there's my phone right there. Call the police now." "Okay, police." No, wait a minute. Don't go to the police. I haven't had enough fun yet. I don't want to live in jail." The subsequent police investigation revealed multiple charges against her, including burglary and hostage-taking. Kathy met her lover on social media a few months before I left for the US. Kathy was attracted to this guy in such a wild way that she was not to me. She was so attracted to him that she did what he told her to do. When she was put in jail, she seemed to have recovered from her fever dream and was horrified by the magnitude of the crime she had committed. What's going to happen to me now?" "What you did was a legitimate crime. It's also a severely malicious first offense. There are no extenuating circumstances. You're going to be in jail for years to come." "Oh no! Do something! We're married!" "Don't mess around. I refuse to acknowledge someone who would hurt my precious family as a wife. You kept Dad and Mom locked up in that dingy room in the first place. You only got what you deserved because it came straight back to you." The subsequent trial resulted in a 16-year prison sentence for the interloper and a 6-year prison sentence for Kathy. The other man was charged with robbery and assault and various other offenses. In Kathy's case, it appears that direct harm to my father and my mother was the deciding factor in her sentencing. Either way, their lives were as good as over. They will never be a part of my life or my parents' lives again. After that, my father and mother received counseling and treatment at a hospital I knew. Little by little, my emotional wounds began to heal. After the conclusion of the incident, I had to leave for America right away. Although I felt a bit sad to leave my younger brother behind, he was able to stay with our parents after I left. It was a bit of a relief. A few months have passed since then, and I finally finished my foreign assignment and returned to America. The sight of my parents' joyful and happy faces when they welcomed me at the airport still remains fresh in my memory. I have been recently promoted to a higher position in the company due to my performance overseas. I will now do my best to make up for the loneliness I caused my parents during my 1-year absence. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again soon. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel.